I never thought a simple photo could change my life so much, but that's what happened last Saturday. I was standing next to Mr. Olivier, the director of the company. We both smiled when he shook my hand. The caption said, "I finally got that promotion. Working hard brings good results. Big achievement in my job. I didn't think too much about sharing it, just another job update for social media. I didn't know how mistaken I was. My name is Rachel. At 24, I got my first big chance at Marshall & Associates. I got promoted from a beginner manager to the head of the department. It was hard. I worked for 4 years, putting in extra hours, giving many presentations, and drinking a lot of coffee, more than I want to say. But I did it all by myself, and that was very important to me. I was still feeling happy about my promotion when my phone buzzed. I didn't save the number, but I recognized it immediately. My mom. After 8 years of not talking, she suddenly called me. My hand trembled as I looked at the screen. "Hello," my voice was softer than I meant it to be. "Rachel, dear," my mother's voice was just like I remembered, kind but not real. It was the way she spoke when she wanted something. "Your dad and I just saw your post. We are very proud of you." Are you proud? That word struck me hard. Where was their support when I needed it the most? "Thanks," I said, holding onto my desk to stay steady. "Let's have a celebration. Why not come over this weekend? We can have a great party for you. Your whole family would really enjoy seeing how well you've done." Everyone in the family. That meant Madison, my little sister, the favorite, the golden child, the one who could do everything right. "I will think about it," I said, feeling a tightness in my throat. "Sure, sweetie. We really missed you a lot. Isn't it time to move on from the past?" After we finished the call, I sat there, my heart racing. I sat at my desk, looking at nothing. After 8 years of not talking, everything changed because of one post on social media. It has been 8 years since I left that house, telling myself I would never return. 8 years of creating a life without them. I felt the medical alert bracelet on my wrist. It talked about my serious peanut allergy, the same allergy my parents thought was just an easy thing to deal with, and Madison made fun of with her mean jokes. My grandmother's words stayed with me. "Family is who treats you like family, not just who shares your blood." She was my true parent. For the last 8 years, Grandma has always been there for me. She helped me during college and believed in me when nobody else did. I kept thinking about the words, "proud of you." It's odd how the same words can seem empty when one person says them, but feel full of love when someone else says them. I saw the picture on my desk. Grandma and I were at my college graduation. She was smiling, really proud of me, not the pretend pride my parents seemed to have all of a sudden. The call from Mom reminded me of all the things I wanted to forget. Memories from the past came rushing in, and they hurt just like they did before. Madison was 4 years younger than me, but from the time she was born, she was the star of the family. Everything was about her. I bought clothes from discount stores, but Madison wore fancy designer outfits. My parents used fancy cameras to take pictures of her all the time, while my school awards were put away in drawers and ignored. I can clearly remember my 11th birthday. I was really wanting an art set. I saw a basic kit with colored pencils and a sketchbook. It was simple. I ended up with a pack of No. 2 pencils. "You need these for school," Mom said. That year, for Madison's 8th birthday, my parents changed the whole backyard into a Disney Princess Wonderland, and they even hired Sabrina. Mom would say that Madison is just more artistic when relatives asked why we were treated so differently. She needs the right tools to grow her talent. I can still picture Aunt Marguerite talking at a family dinner. "All children deserve the same love. This is not correct." Mom waved her away like it didn't matter. "Oh, Marguerite, you don't have any children. You might not get it. Our girls are unique. Madison has great ability. The hardest part wasn't the gifts or the parties. It was how they made me feel like I wasn't good enough. like I didn't matter. When I won first place in a state math competition, I thought my mom would say congratulations. She replied, "That's nice, dear, but did you see Madison's painting? It's shown in the school hallway." My grandma understood everything. "This is not okay, Camille," she would say to my mom. "You are making one child feel like they deserve everything and the other feel like they are not good enough." "Okay, Mom," my mom would say while rolling her eyes. "Madison has a special talent. Rachel is just normal." We are being honest about what they can do. Madison learned fast how to use her position well. If she broke something, she would say it was my fault, and my parents would believe her without thinking. If she accidentally spilled juice on my homework and I got upset, she would cry, and then I would look like the bad person. One time she told her friends not to play with me because I was the dull sister. When I got into the advanced math program at school, Madison was in a school play. Can you guess what event my parents attended? I sat by myself in the math classroom during the award ceremony, looking at other parents smile happily at their kids. My teacher and the principal signed my certificate, but my parents never got to see it. If I tried to share my feelings, Dad would say, "Your sister needs us more. She has true skills to develop." "You're more independent," they said. It wasn't a nice thing to say. It was just their reason for not paying attention to me. Our family members also saw what was going on. At family gatherings, everyone would stop talking when Madison asked for attention in a big way, or when she left me out of things on purpose. The grown-ups would look at each other in a strange way, but my parents acted like they didn't notice, or maybe they just decided to ignore it. Life can surprise you when you don't see it coming. When I was 13, I was surprised by a peanut butter sandwich at Grandma's house. I have eaten peanut butter many times before. It was one of my favorite foods, but that day felt different. "Do you want a sandwich, dear?" Grandma asked, putting her special peanut butter and honey mix on the bread. I nodded happily, watching her spread the smooth peanut butter. After 3, I realized something was not right. My throat began to feel tight. It became more and more difficult to breathe. I remember dropping the sandwich and my hands going to my throat. What happened next is still a bit unclear in my mind. My grandma thought fast and saved my life. She quickly saw the signs of a severe allergic reaction and called 911. I remember her holding my hand in the ambulance. She spoke softly, but I could sense the fear in her voice. "Please stay with me, my dear. Just keep taking breaths." My parents arrived at the hospital about an hour later, looking upset that they had to leave their jobs. Mom tapped her foot while the doctor talked about what happened. The doctor said, "She has a serious peanut allergy. Allergies can appear out of nowhere, even if you didn't have any issues before. She must have an EpiPen with her all the time, and you need to look at every food label closely. Mixing things up can be very risky." Dad nodded, but he was looking at his watch. Mom was already busy on her phone, likely texting Madison's dance teacher about being late to pick her up. The trip back was even harder than being at the hospital. They held back their feelings until we got in the car. "This is just right," Mom said quietly, "like we don't have enough to handle already." Dad said, "First the math help, now this. Why does everything with you have to be so complicated, Rachel?" I pushed myself against the car door, trying to make myself as small as possible. My throat still hurt from the reaction, but what they said hurt even more. For the next few years, I followed a careful routine of reading labels and taking EpiPens with me wherever I went. My grandma helped me get the right medical alert bracelets and showed me how to talk about my allergy. She called the school to explain how serious my condition was. Madison always found many ways to tease me. She waved peanut butter sandwiches in front of me, laughing when I jumped back. "Oh, I'm sorry," she would say, acting like she didn't know. "I forgot that you have allergies to everything now." At family gatherings, she would yell, "Be careful, everyone." Rachel could get really sick if she eats the wrong food. Everyone would laugh in a strange way, and I'd feel even more like I didn't belong. My parents didn't fix her mistakes. They looked annoyed by the extra help I required. I learned to pack my own food, look at every label 4 times, and never trust food I didn't check myself. It was tiring, but it became what I was used to. When I finished high school, it was supposed to be a happy moment. I got a full scholarship to Northwestern State University. I did everything by myself, keeping straight A's, working part-time jobs, and being careful with my allergy. The acceptance letter showed me that all my hard work paid off. When I was studying late at night, Madison's loud music would make the walls of the house shake, but now I had something to display for it. I will always remember the moment I got accepted into college. I got accepted to Northwestern, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. Complete academic scholarship. That's nice, sweetie, Mom said, not looking up from her food. I said, holding my fork tightly, I need help with housing. The scholarship pays for tuition, but it does not cover accommodation. I checked the prices and it's a no. Dad's voice was steady and even. You decided to apply to a college in a different state. That was your choice. We are putting money aside for Madison's school. She wants to go to Riverside in 3 years, and it costs a lot. I looked at my plate, trying not to cry. Madison smiled and spun her pasta slowly, as if she was really enjoying it. But it's only the cost of housing, I said once more. The scholarship pays for everything else. Rachel, Mom interrupted quickly, we have decided. When nobody replied, she went on, Sil, John, how could you? Your daughter got a full scholarship and you won't help her with housing. Mom, please. My mom let out a sigh. Dad quickly added, Madison's education. What about Madison's education? Grandma got really mad. How is Rachel doing in school? How about helping both of your kids? Then she looked at Madison, who still had that proud smile. And you, Grandma said, her voice now a bit chilly, you are turning into a mean and spoiled kid. I feel embarrassed by your behavior. Madison's face changed right away, and she started to cry, which was her go-to move when things didn't go as she wanted. Mom and Dad quickly got up to help her, giving Grandma and me angry looks. This is just what we mean, Mom said sharply to Grandma. You and Rachel, you always make things hard and cause trouble. Something in me broke. I didn't say anything. I got up, walked out of the dining room, and went up the stairs to my bedroom. I took my old duffel bag and began putting in clothes. After a little while, Grandma came to the door. Take all the things you need, dear. You're coming to my place. But college, I began. Don't worry, it will be handled, she said confidently. I will cover your housing costs. Concentrate on your schoolwork and creating your future. Half an hour later, we left that house together. My parents were yelling, and I could hear Madison pretending to cry. It all bounced off the walls behind us. At that time, I felt something change. I was saying goodbye to the people who always made me feel little and not wanted. I wasn't sure what the future would be like, but for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. After many years, I experienced a feeling I had never felt before. Wish. College life was just what I hoped for, and even better. My small apartment close to campus became my safe space, a place where I could relax without feeling like I had to be careful all the time. Grandma came to see us a lot. She always remembered my birthday, holidays, and every special moment in my life. My parents and Madison, however, seemed to disappear. No phone calls on Christmas, no cards on my birthday, and not even a text for graduation. 8 years without any sound. When I stood at their door after the call about my promotion, it felt like a dream. The house looked just like before. The light cream walls, the nice lawn, and the brass door knocker I used to reach for when I was a kid. Mom opened the door to a very happy Rachel. Her voice seemed practiced as she hugged me, and it felt awkward and strange. The living room was still the same. Madison's successes were still the main focus. Her Riverside degree was displayed proudly above the fireplace, catching everyone's eye. Madison was sitting in Dad's old armchair, looking at her phone. She hardly glanced at me, only rolling her eyes when Mom began to talk excitedly about my promotion. "We're really proud of you, dear," Mom kept saying, but her words felt hollow after 8 years of silence. "Aren't we, John?" Dad gave a nod while sitting on the couch. "I'm really proud. Getting a higher position in a big company like that, it's really cool." "We have to celebrate the right way," Mom said, her voice changing to that special way she talks when planning Madison's big events. "A large family get-together at home. Everyone wants to see you. Aunt Marjorie, all your cousins, and Grandma as well." I asked clearly, "Of course." "Sure," Mom said fast, but I saw the small frown she tried to cover up. "We want to fix things, Rachel. It has been a long time. What do you think about 3 weeks from now? That will give everyone time to get ready." Every part of me felt that this was not right, but I still nodded. "Okay, that sounds good." The 3 weeks before the party felt odd. I was busy with my new tasks at work, but my phone kept buzzing all the time. My family started messaging me a lot all of a sudden. Mom sent texts every day about getting ready for the party. Madison, who I hadn't talked to in a long time, suddenly sent me a friend request on social media. The note that came with it said, "Let's move on from the past, sister." Grandma was very happy. During one of our weekly dinners, she said, "This is everything I've ever wanted for my family, to be together again." The day of the party is here at last. The day was warm and sunny, just right for a get-together. I drove to my parents' house and noticed cars parked along the street. The house was full of busy people. Aunt Marjorie's daughter, Lori, was running around with her phone, filming everything like a little movie maker. The smell of catered food was in the air, and I saw that everything was plain. That was unexpected. Rachel gave me a warm hug first. "You look really pretty, my dear." Next, Aunt Marjorie gave me a hug. "We are really proud of you, kiddo. Being a department head at your age is amazing." Madison was by the stairs, wearing a fancy dress that likely cost more than what I pay for rent in a month. She welcomed guests with a big, friendly smile, like she was in a beauty contest. At the same time, my parents moved around the house, acting like great hosts, as if the last 8 years didn't matter. When everyone was finally seated at the big, nicely decorated dining table, Mom stood up and tapped her glass to get everyone's attention. "We're really glad to see everyone here today," she said with a big smile. "We are having a celebration for Rachel's promotion." She stopped for a moment while everyone clapped nicely. It's great to see her finally getting comfortable in the business world. I should have realized that the word "finally" was a warning sign. "And about success," Mom said, sounding happier now, "I want to take a moment to talk about our Madison." She started talking a lot about Madison's successes, finishing Riverside with good grades, her art skills, and how talented she was. I sat there still as Mom finished with this. "Now that Rachel has this great job and a role in management, we hope she can help her very qualified sister get into this respected company." The table became quiet. I noticed Grandma looking at me, and I saw Aunt Marjorie move around in her chair, looking a bit uneasy. Laura's phone kept pointing at me, capturing every hard moment. "Actually," I said, keeping my voice calm even though I felt the pressure, "I can't hire anyone right now. I am the head of a department, not a director. I don't decide who gets hired." Mom's smile got a little smaller, but she kept trying. "With your new influence." "Excuse me," I said, interrupting her as I got up. "Mom, Dad, can we have a private talk?" They came into the kitchen with me, and their fake smiles went away as soon as we were by ourselves. I thought this was meant to be a celebration for my promotion, I said softly, not a networking event for Madison. Rachel, don't be selfish, Mom said sharply. Madison really needs this chance. Family supports each other. Thinking only of yourself, I said again, shocked. After 8 years of not talking, you only contact me because you need something. So I'm the selfish person. Dad's face became serious. We have done everything we can for Madison and put all our resources into her future. The room began to turn around. Chairs slid on the floor, and people shouted in fear. Grandma's voice came through the loud sounds. A person called 911. After that, everything got confusing. Dark shapes, sounds, and a lot of commotion. The final thing I sensed was my throat tightening and Grandma's hands gripping mine. I woke up to the constant beep of hospital machines. My throat hurt, and my body felt tired. Grandma sat next to my bed, looking tired and worried. "Oh, thank goodness," she said softly, moving closer when she noticed my eyes were open. "We nearly lost you, dear. The doctor said it was one of the worst reactions they have ever seen." I wanted to talk, but my throat hurt too much. "Wait a bit before you talk," Grandma said, holding my hand softly. "You've been gone for a few hours. The EpiPen and the paramedics almost didn't make it to you in time." I was able to say quietly, "The food." Before Grandma could say anything, Aunt Marguerite came into the room with Lori right behind her. Lori gripped her phone tightly, looking more serious than usual. "Rachel," Aunt Marguerite said, her voice trembling with anger, "you need to check this out. Lori, please show her." Lori moved closer, her hands shaking as she offered her phone. "I was recording everything at the party," she said softly. "I saw this when you were in the kitchen with your mom and dad." The video showed the dining room from a place close to the dessert table. I can picture myself walking out of the room with my parents. A little while later, Madison got up, walked to my table, and took something out of her fancy purse. She took out a small jar, mixed something into my food, and then sat back down. She had a clear smirk on her face. "That is peanut butter," Aunt Marguerite said, her voice stern. "Your sister put peanut butter in your food on purpose, even though she knows you are allergic." I looked at the screen and couldn't take my eyes off it. My sister Madison tried to hurt me. She was sure about what she was doing. Grandma said quietly, her voice shaky, "She could have hurt you." Everyone got quiet as we watched the video again. Madison acted in a very relaxed and careful way. That little smile as she mixed the peanut butter into my food showed me this was not a mistake. It was arranged. I left the hospital even though the doctor said not to. I was really angry and couldn't believe what was happening. The video Lori sent me felt heavy in my pocket, like it held all the things I had just experienced. When I arrived at my parents' house, my hands trembled on the steering wheel. Inside, Mom, Dad, and Madison were all sitting in the living room, acting like nothing had happened, as if I hadn't almost died at their dinner table just a few hours ago. "What are you doing here?" Madison asked, not really looking up from her phone. "Aren't you supposed to be at the hospital, making a scene?" "I know what you did," I said, my voice steady but strong. "I see you added peanut butter to my food." Madison's head shot up, her face showing anger. "How can you say that about your sister?" Mom got angry and stood up quickly. "Haven't you made enough problems?" I took out my phone, opened the video, and hit play. The room became quiet. The only sound was the video playing. Madison walked to my plate, mixing peanut butter into my food with a proud smile. Madison's face lost all its color. Then, surprisingly, she laughed. "Oh, come on, it was just a joke," she said with a shrug. "You always seem really serious about everything." "Is it a joke?" My voice trembled with anger. I might have died. Do you get that? The doctor said I almost didn't make it. "Oh, come on," Mom said. waving her hand like it didn't matter. "You're overreacting. Madison was just enjoying herself a little. Is it fun?" I looked at them shocked. I had a serious allergic reaction. My heart almost stopped. Dad's voice became cold when he talked. "Pay attention. If you even think about going to the police, you're not our daughter anymore. We will take away everything from you." At that moment, everything was very clear. These people were not my family. They had never been. I turned and walked out without saying anything else. I felt calm as I got in my car and drove home. I knew just what I needed to do. I sat at my computer and uploaded the video to my social media. Below it, I wrote, "Today I learned what family really means, and these people are not it. My sister intentionally gave me peanuts, even though she knew I could have a serious reaction because of my allergy. My parents said it was a joke. This is the final time I will call them family." The reply came right away and was very strong. Family members I hadn't talked to in a long time were surprised and upset. Aunt Margory shared the video with her harsh comments. Friends and coworkers contacted me, showing shock and offering help. My parents and Madison argued, saying things like I just wanted attention and that it was all a mix-up. The video was clear on its own. The next morning, I went to the police station and made a report. That afternoon, my parents' lawyer brought me a letter. I was officially disowned and taken out of their will. Later that day, Madison shared a sad video online, trying to make herself look like the victim. Madison shared a sad video about how I was hurting the family with my untruths, but I had company. My grandma called me that night. "I talked to my lawyer," she said confidently. "I'm stopping all contact with them." "Rachel, you are my only heir now. You've always felt more like my daughter than Camille's." I sat on my couch that night, looking at all the messages on my phone. Help came from real family, friends, and coworkers. My phone buzzed with a message from Lori. "You're still my favorite cousin. Mom says you can come to our house for dinner whenever you want." 8 years ago, I left a bad family situation. This time, I was running towards something real. Sometimes the family you are born with is not the family you are supposed to have. Sometimes you need to create your own.